Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Take control of the numbers and supercharge your small business with Xero. That's Xero. With our easy-to-use accounting software with automation and reporting features, you'll spend less time on manual tasks and more time understanding how your business is doing. 87% of surveyed U.S. customers agree Xero helps improve financial visibility. Search Xero with an X or visit Xero.com/ACAST to start your 30-day free trial. Conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Osher Günsberg, and this is a Sober Awkward t-shirt. Podcast.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward.
Barefoot Day here at Acast Studios.
Absolutely.
Which is...
Encouraged.
I guess.
Depending on the feet available.
I guess it is. Thanks, bro.
Alrighty.
Here we are.
So,
Is your font small enough? That's the first thing.
I've got pretty good eyes.
Fuck, you're lucky, mate.
I'm going to brag about my eyes.
You should. I have a contact lens in on this side, so I can
you're a one-eyer.
do anything. Yeah,
Cyclops.
monovision it's called.
Yeah, I'm also used to the bad hearing. My dad is like terrible hearing. So
Does he have hearing aids?
He has got the most advanced hearing aids money can buy, and they do not do the job.
All right, it's a shame.
It's a sad life for him. Benefit though, I don't know if you've got this hearing aid. One where the TV to me is on mute, but it's playing straight into the hearing aids.
I have that.
So do you pretend to be in a conversation that you're not? And
No,
then you laugh
never,
at the wrong?
never,
See,
never,
my dad's
never.
an amateur.
No.
He laughs when we're not saying anything funny, and I look over and it's 40 towers.
Yeah.
Rookie.
It's only 13 episodes. You've seen it before, Dad.
I know.
And there's a few that don't play very well.
Yeah, some of them have not dated great.
Not very. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, me too.
I've got an intro,
Great.
and then we'll go straight into it.
You're going to do it while I'm in the room?
I'm doing it whilst you're in the room. I thought not, but I thought, you know what? It's a little bit of flattery, and it's quite nice to start with a little bit of flattery.
Okay.
None of it is too embarrassing. We'll get to the embarrassing stuff later on.
Thank you.
Osher Günsberg is a TV and radio host, a podcaster, author, husband, dad, and stepdad. Of course, he's far more than that. But with regards to his career, Osher is quite simply one of the most recognisable faces and voices in Australia. From his early days on radio at B105 in Brisbane, Osher would go on to head up Channel V, travelling around the country and broadcasting live on TV for 3 hours, practically every day, it seems, for 7 years. In 2011, he turned his sights to the US and would become the first Australian to present a network TV show in the States with Live to Dance. Back in Australia, Osher can safely say he's played a key role in some of our most successful TV shows. His glittering career includes Australian Idol, narrating Bondi Rescue, presenting The Batchelor and The Bachelorette since 2013, not to mention countless other shows. But most importantly for today's conversation,
Yeah.
Osher is sober.
Yeah.
14 years today or yesterday is
Today's,
what I'm trying to
well,
establish.
Today's the day. It's today Australia time.
Today, Australia time.
Yes, it's today Australia time.
Congratulations.
Mate, it's thank you. It's just, I'd love to have. I think that it's great news and terrible news in that it's a day at a time, and it's still a day at a time.
Yes.
And that's it. It gets easier. It was told to me early on by the first person in the industry that I disclosed to. They told me, look, it gets easier. It gets easier, and it does. But yeah, it's today. It's like anything. It's Wayne coined from the Flaming Lips. He has a couple of brilliant lines that I really adore, and one of them is simply "All we have is now," and that's truly it. And if you're aware that now is at the same time beautiful or terrible, but also it won't last, then it can help you get through those moments. Early on, it was fucking. Sometimes it was, 3 hours at a time, an hour at a time, 5 minutes at a time. It's not like that too much these days, but it would be inauthentic for me to tell you that those bits of my brain don't try to take the wheel or the handlebars, as it were, because I rode the motorbike today.
Like a soberversary is a bit of an odd day because you are very aware of it. I imagine Audrey knows it's today, but no one else really knows. Do you celebrate it?
It's a day like any other. It's a day to, I'm really grateful to be here with you today as a way to talk about it, because it's just part of my life that I don't do that anymore. But it is a day when I do quite profoundly reflect upon how different my life is now and what my life has become and how I can do my best to give the gift that was given to me to other people. And that's why I started the podcast. 2013 I started it every week, just because I wasn't hearing the kind of conversations that I had needed to hear when I was still drinking. I hadn't heard the solution-focused kind of conversations around sobriety that I ended up hearing once I started getting involved in step programs. And I really could have used hearing that because I didn't know what sober looked like, and I didn't know what problem solving looked like. I didn't know what being in a room full of people looked like. I didn't know what dating looked like. I didn't know what work looked like. I didn't know what any of that looked like without drinking. And it wasn't until I started hearing other people share and tell stories and teach me things that I was like, oh, wow, there's a whole bunch of things, amazing ways of life and things that can happen. More people need to know about this. And so it's a day where I do reflect on that. I mean, I was texting a bloke last night who was asking me, how do you get a sponsor? I was texting him at like 11:30. He's like, I don't want to keep you up. It's like, mate, I'm up because I'm writing in my journal thing because I just had this massive blow up with my wife and stepdaughter and I'm trying to sort my shit out.
Yeah.
So it's same thing, man. It's like life on life's terms is still, it's still there. It's, Susan David, the great psychologist Susan David says, you can't, uncomfortable feelings are the price of admission to a meaningful life. And it's not smoothies and balcony sex and strawberries dipped in chocolate every day. That happens, but the converse of that also happens, and that's what life is. And we're sold this idea that a life free of discomfort or pain or frustration is what we want, when actually the true joy of life comes out of having the skills and having the resilience to be with that pain and frustration and disappointment, because it's in those moments that we grow and we discover new parts of ourselves. So it's only been 14 years. So I stopped drinking at 36. And considering I had been pretty much blackout drinking since I was about 14, I literally had the emotional intelligence of a 14-year-old as a 36-year-old man. And so I'm really not that. I wasn't even that. I was a very odd kid. So I'm still trying to figure it out. And I think a lot of that is having compassion for yourself and trying to figure it out and trying to, understand that it's not always going to be this way. Again, you made that mistake. It's okay. What are you going to do about it? and then try to do a different thing next time. But yeah, that's a long answer. I tend to give long answers to short
That's
questions.
all right.
I'm sorry.
Soberversary is not really about gift giving, but it would be remiss of me to see you on today of all days and not offer you something.
Oh, mate, you don't have to give me anything.
There is something.
Like,
it's little.
Oh, it's
It's
very
a very
sweet.
sober gift. You don't have to open it in front of me if you don't want to.
It's merch.
A little bit. He's good. He is good. Not all merch though.
Yeah, you've given me some branding, and there's a
Okay.
book here.
Yes. My co-host Victoria Vanstone just
Oh,
had a
yeah,
book.
yeah.
There is the book. She
You know
signed
what?
it for
I actually
you.
have this book.
You already have it.
I do have this book.
You need to find someone else called Osher to give a signed copy
Perhaps
to them.
someone, yeah. I've got, look at this. There's a, oh, good. I love a new gardening
Yes.
shirt. And
Some offence taken.
a mocktail tea.
Yes.
Tell
She-
me, oh,
we've got
right,
a-
it's just hot water.
We've got a range of teas.
Look at you.
Is there a more
Fuck
sober
yeah,
gift
get
than the tea?
in. The social network for sober people.
Yes.
Look
Tea
at you
t-shirt book.
monetizing. Look at you monetizing sobriety. Holy moly!
We give away the tea.
I have a. I appreciate that. Thank you. You could have just called it tea. I have a. I'm not really a mocktail guy.
Yeah.
You know, if I
Nor
go
am I.
out, I'm like, really, I'm going to pay $20. I'm going to pay $22 for some juice. Fuck
Yes.
off. I can
I'm
get a
the
$20
same.
juice in Bondi. You know, give me some soda water, thanks, mate. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Not at all. Let's talk about Queensland.
Yeah.
So you spent, other than your years in Adelaide, most of your sort of growing up
Yeah.
was done in Queensland. It's where I've been living for the last 3 years. Like many places in Australia, it has a very, very sort of proud drinking culture. I lived in Bondi, then I lived in Tassie and rural Victoria before Queensland.
Which bit of Queensland are you in?
I'm on the Sunshine Coast.
Ah, which part?
I'm in Peregian.
Ha ha!
And I feel as if like every part of Australia is like, we are the biggest drinkers. Very similar in England. Northerners are convinced they can drink more than Southerners. How did sort of those formative years in Queensland impact your relationship with alcohol?
Well, I'm not saying anything that's out of. I'm 2 weeks. It might be my 14th sober birthday today, but in 2 weeks I'll be 50.
I know.
All right, so just count back 40 years, and you're talking about early 80s Queensland, and everything revolves around beer. I drove past the 4X brewery. The train went past it, the bus went past it, the car went past it every day on the way to school. And the beer ads were everywhere. And the beer ads sold a story that as soon as you crack a can, Alan Border and Jeff Thompson are going to pop out from behind a palm tree, and now suddenly you're on a beach and the Sundays on a fishing trip, and there's girls in bikinis that show up. Can't tell you how many cans I opened.
Not once.
Never once did Tomo or AB show up or a girl in a bikini. However, AB did used to go to the grocery store that I delivered groceries for when I was about 19. And yeah, I think I caught him on a rough day. Yeah, he didn't want to chat that day. So I don't know. I think the ads were lying, but I didn't know that. It was ingrained into me that this is it. And the vibe, I mean, I guess as well, you know, just the culture around us, everybody drank. Like everybody drank all the time. Adults drank, everybody. There was nobody, I didn't know anybody that didn't drink. And it was this thing as young men in Queensland, and the school that I went to, I guess it was an all-boys school, that just the goal, the achievement of scoring booze from someone was a big fucking deal. And like, I understand that is the same way for many teenagers, right? But for me, the first time it really hit, I think I was mowing the lawn on a stinking hot kind of Queensland day. And I think my neighbour or someone, or my mum, I can't remember who gave me a beer. And I was really thirsty. And nothing had ever quenched my thirst. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. But on top of that, all kind of anxiety and fear and shame and all the stuff that I've been seeing psychiatrists since I was about 5, all that just kind of vanished. I was like, oh shit, this is like, so back in the day there was a kid's, I think you'd call it a graphic novel called Asterix. It was French.
I know.
Really racist.
I went to French school.
Yeah, right. And basically Asterix in every episode or every book would drink this potion and become a superhuman and then win the battle or win the fight. And it was literally like, I have discovered the magic elixir. I've discovered this thing that will make all of the weird, sad, shame, anger, pain, feelings go away. But it wouldn't go away. It would kind of just get it down to about maybe like a 3 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10, but it would never go all the way away. So I just kept thinking like, all right, just have one more of these, then it'll be gone. And it never, ever, ever went. Unfortunately, it got to a point where 14 years ago, I was gonna. It was very clear that I was going to die if I kept going.
We had a similar schooling. Funny enough, I was also Catholic, boys' school. Yeah. You either are built for it or you adapt to it. It's been my experience of it. You were a shy kid. You were afraid of strangers. You were struggling with your weight.
Yeah.
You were suffering from anxiety and panic attacks from as young as 3.
I was very little, yeah.
So what was school like for that kid?
Really weird. Yeah, really, really weird. I was terrified of strangers.
Yeah.
Terrified of strangers and terrified of new people and terrified of new things. And I remember going, it was like, he must have been the only psychiatrist in Brisbane in the 70s, late 70s when I went to go see him. I was 5. I mean, what's he going to do with me? I don't know. There's certainly not the research around childhood development and certainly psychology now.
Played a lot of Battleships, didn't you?
Yeah, we just had that playing Battleship.
Amazing.
Fuck, I don't know what that was about. My parents must have paid so much money for it. Yeah, it was really odd. And I think by like many people who, well, I've talked to other people who are in my industry, and it's a not uncommon move to be like, well, I'm terrified of what you guys are going to think about me. I'm going to then try to be in control of what it is that you're thinking. So I started trying to be bigger than, and being very deliberately loud talking or trying to make a joke or, just being really like huge in a room to at least know that if people were judging me, they were judging me off a thing that I had been involved in. And wildly that led to me, I guess, I ended up getting on stage. I was about, 8 or 9, I think. We had a school play or something. And I got on stage and I think every Friday we had this school assembly and everyone had a turn to do a sketch or a scene. And it was our class's turn. And I got up on stage and I did the line and everyone laughed. A, they were all quiet. B, I was the only one talking. And so I was in control of the situation. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is good. I like this. I know it. And then my coping mechanism became my career. I now have a very different relationship to my career, but for a long time, right into like big TV stuff here in Australia, that was just absolute serenity, is to be on live national primetime television with millions of people. I was grateful that you mentioned the CBS show earlier. I don't think I was the first Australian to host a network show, but I'm the first and only Australian to host a live network primetime show at this point. And I was sober by that point, and standing on stage at CBS Television City, looking down the barrel, and there's millions of Americans watching, just absolute, complete calm. It was unbelievable. Yeah, but I had a very different way of going about it. But yeah, Queensland was, kind of strange, man. I just very rapidly started having a very different relationship to alcohol to the people around me. I got to, vomiting was just a part of the course. I could spew without breaking step. I have vivid memories of walking across King George Square, which is a place in Brisbane between a train station and a bus stop. We were trying to get a bus home or whatever. And I just 2 steps, turned my left, didn't even get any of my clothes, kept walking. Went to another pub. It was just no big deal. That was just par for the course. And it was just all the time. And alcohol is one of those drugs that the dosage required to have a similar effect becomes more and more. And But I didn't realize it, man. I didn't realize it. I think I was about 22. I started to get like really loose, and it just became like awful. And my girlfriend at the time, I remember lying in her lap, like out the back of Milton somewhere, behind the bowling club, bowling alley. I don't know if it's still there. And I was like lying in her cross-legged lap, looking up at the stars. The stars kept moving, and she's stroking the vomit out of my hair. I've got long hair, so I had vomit in my hair, and she's kind of stroking it out of my mouth so I could breathe properly. She's looking down at me. I'm like, why do you do this to yourself all the time? No one ever think about that. And I'm like looking at her going, oh, no, my dad, fuck off, I don't have a problem. Like, oh, man. So that was 22. It took me 14 more years until I actually had to think about that.
Yeah. One of the things I've found out doing this podcast is that anyone that sort of eventually develops an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, somewhere under the surface, if you look close enough, there's some trauma. And for you, there's plenty of different events that seem to have been significant. Both your parents being medical practitioners and regularly pulling over at road accidents.
Oh, yeah.
Meant that you saw death when you were crazy young.
Yeah.
And then I know that you were in New York September 11th, a day that, you'd end up sort of drinking and being diagnosed with PTSD as a result of that.
Yeah.
Do you see those traumatic events, amongst others, as sort of being the dominoes that fell that led to this relationship?
Oh, yeah. Look, alcohol, I remember I heard somewhere going, oh, look, we're the elite of the mentally ill.
Right. Yes, we're the elite of something.
But look, I've since a few diagnoses later, I'm not elite anymore. I've got a few other things going on. Alcohol is a widely available, socially acceptable, self-administered depressant. It's a drug. It's a molecule. It's a drug that people are in control of the dosage they take. It's completely illegal over the age of 18. They're in control of the dosage they take. And for some amount of emotional distress, it can have an effect where it makes that emotional distress feel less. So to use alcohol to deal with shitty day at work, kids being cunts, getting dropped by someone you love, your team losing, that can relieve that emotional distress for maybe a few hours if you're lucky. What happens though is that because of what the drug does to our brain and the way it affects our memories, not only do we not learn anything and have that emotional impact change the way we then go about things next time, so we don't learn anything from it, it doesn't make the problem. There's no solutions. You're basically just checking out of the moment for a sec, but all the problems and things have just kept going until you're now back in it. Unfortunately, now you're hungover and you're cantankerous, and you know what's a good idea for those things? A drink. So, look, I understand why people use alcohol as a way to bolster their ability to cope with things that are difficult. There's way better ways to deal with things that are uncomfortable, and way better ways to deal with things that are difficult, way better ways to deal with mental illness. Some of those things, zero cost. Some of those things, molecules that will change the way you feel, are all in your body. If you have a different brain, or there's a diagnosis that has been given to you, you can find that there are billions of dollars of research and development that pharmaceutical companies have put in to create different molecules that can actually make things a whole lot better, and in conjunction with some other work around talk therapy and things like that, can have an actual lasting impact and make things better on a permanent basis, not just a couple of hours. So look, I understand why people use alcohol. I don't think we know enough about how actually not great it is. Like it's not what, like as the old line says, like, alcohol is not my problem, alcohol is my solution.
Exactly.
All right. It's not a permanent solution. It's not even a temporary solution. It's literally just changing the channel for a little while. But unfortunately, by the time you change it back, you're at the part of the movie where everything's on fire. All right. and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you could have intervened, but no, you were out for a couple of hours and now you're back and now it's awful. There's absolutely no problem that anyone has ever had that has gotten less terrible by drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking at a problem that is bothering you will only make that problem worse. There's nothing that is fucked up that's going to get less fucked up if you start drinking when things get fucked up. All right. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get fucked up. All right. That's truly it. They didn't have that in the beer ads. That's not what happens when the footy team is winning the grand final and someone's asking, how do you feel? Like, you wouldn't have seen those ads because you weren't in the country, but literally your childhood heroes who are the football teams and the cricketers are, going over the line to score this massive try and like, oh, now I'm in a locker room with a whole bunch of men and look how accepted they are and how friendly they are and oh, they're drinking cans. Yeah. That's what I want. Nope.
Yeah. We don't mind a quote on Sober Awkward. You are a man that has a library of quotes in your mind at all times. I think you've already dropped 2. I've heard you cite Lao Tzu as like one of, like behind the timing of when you went sober.
Yeah.
He wrote, "If you do not change direction, you may end up where you're heading."
Exactly.
Now, that day for you came 14 years ago today in New York.
Yeah.
You've described it as like a normal night out.
Yeah.
Sure, you threw up and pissed somewhere that you shouldn't have.
It was terrible. It was fucking awful. Like, some people have their... I got really lucky, all right? I got so lucky. Some people have their moment where they realise they've got to stop drinking, when there's a cop sticking their head in the window of their car going, the fuck mate, what do you realise what you've just done? And they have no idea, but they're about to find out. Some people have that moment when they find themselves in prison. They have that moment when they just kind of look up and their house is empty. Their wife and kids are gone. They're unemployed, like don't understand. And then they kind of figure out, oh, it was the drinking. I got really, really, really lucky because, and so, some people have that moment after a massive night.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, I can never do that again.
New Year's Day is always the big day.
New Year's Day is classics, right? Yeah. For me, that particular night, 14 years ago, last night, was really just another night, but it was another night of how all the other nights in very recent times had started to become. They would happen maybe a couple times a year, and they started happening a couple times a month, and they started happening a couple times a week. And that particular week, there was a few. It was like, and I realised that I was unable to not do it. And it became so clear to me that I was no longer in control of it, and that if I didn't stop, that it was very clear that the amount that I was drinking, the choices I was making, the situations I was getting myself into, would not work out well. And, when I think about what happened a few years after that, when I got very, very ill and I was dealing with episodes of psychosis and things like that, there's absolutely no way I would have survived that if I was drinking. Not a fucking hint. No way. I would have just got the fuckets. And it would have been all over. So I'm really, really lucky. I'm really lucky that I could see, and I just had this moment of, look, it's what they say. It's the moment of clarity. It's the moment where you go, oh shit, I can't actually stop this. I'm gonna have to just not do it again. But because my ego is what it is, and because I am who I am, I couldn't accept that I couldn't control this. So I tricked myself by saying, and I wrote down in my little book, oh, until I can have a healthy relationship with alcohol, I'm just not going to drink for a while. Yeah. I'm not stopping drinking. Yeah. I'm just going to wait until I feel I can have a healthy relationship with alcohol. And that's what kind of got me through the first couple of weeks. But I was about 6 weeks in when I realised, oh, I could never do this. I could never do that again. Because like many people, I'd tried a few times to get there. I'd get a couple of days or a couple of weeks up by myself. But then something had happened and it was like nothing had changed. And I'd be 10 beers deep by 8 p.m. And yeah, that had happened. I reckon I tried to stop maybe 4 or 5 times, and I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And it was pretty rapid. It was pretty rapid. But there was painkillers involved as well. So it was a whole heady combination of everything. I was abusing Vicodin, and I'd had a round the dance floor with Percocet a couple of years beforehand. Sure. So it was booze, it was Valiums, it was like I would have like very quickly, that's really unfortunate. There was benzos around, and I was terrible around those things, and there's no question that had I kept going, that it would have just been a mistake. I would have taken some Valiums or whatever, then forgotten I'd taken them, taken some more, and then you never wake up. That's happens to people sometimes. Happened to a friend of mine. So something like that was going to happen, and I had that moment of going, oh shit, I'm there. It was weird understanding that I couldn't drink again. It was weird finding that, and it's like most things. You're only ever going to change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of changing. And I'd heard that before, but I didn't believe it until it was real for me. And I was fucking terrified. Like, what do I do with life without alcohol? How do I do this? But I could absolutely see that if I did not stop, that everything would end. Many things ended. My marriage, my career, and a few other things. Sure. First marriage. Many things did end, but not my life. So I got lucky that I got out with that.
And one of the things that you did differently this time, trying to go sober, was that you picked up the phone and you called this inspiring, sober, charismatic, gorgeous, extrovert photographer friend of yours. Tell me about that phone call.
I gave him a buzz. I when I talk about him, I anonymise him because I don't, it's not for me to out anybody who doesn't already speak out publicly about being sober.
Plus, everyone would call him if you gave the name.
Pardon?
Work for Osher, I'll call him.
He's very, very successful and a lovely, gorgeous man. And he looks, I remember seeing him across the room, and he looked like Tom of Finland. And I'm number 2 of 4 brothers, and one of my brothers is gay, and he was the first guy to show me Tom of Finland, which is like if you were doodling in your notebook at school, like the perfect wave or whatever, you draw this massive fucking wave, palm tree and whatever. Like, this is the dream thing. Like, he's the massive kind of forearms, big mustache, leather man, giant chest, chin that could cut cake, And I look across the room and fucking there he is. He's fucking God. Like, your forearms are as big as my legs. And he's this, extraordinarily talented photographer. And he was such a nice man. And I don't know if he was necessarily extroverted. He just had a confidence about him in this room full of people that I was terrified of. And I was like, how did you do that? How do you do that? I want to know how you do that. So I was texting this bloke last night, and he's asking me, how do you find a sponsor? Which in some ways of getting sober, a sponsor is a part of that. There are other ways to get sober. That's the way that I have chosen. And I said, what was said to me, it's like, just find someone who's got what you want and ask them how they got it, and then just do what they tell you and understand that until this point, your ideas have got you what you now got. Maybe their ideas might be better. Just put your ideas aside for a little while and just do what they tell you. And it's great relief because you don't have to do the thinking. Just let them do the thinking, and they'll be grateful to do it. And I just asked him, I said, how do you do that? How do you do that? And he's like, well, you come to this thing with me, and off we went. And it was interesting because I was a very long way from Queensland. I was very lucky that I'd gotten away. I was in Los Angeles, and it was interesting because the first couple of meetings I went to, they were all gay meetings with this wonderful human being. And I'd sit there listening to the stories, and I'd hear some kid from, I don't know, Wichita, 23 years old, talking about how he felt in a room full of people, and then how he felt in a room full of people when he was drinking. And I was like, oh, hang on, I'm not special. Oh, because I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. But what that told me was like, oh, so what I'm experiencing is a common thing, and there's enough people that have managed to figure this out and live a great life without this to prove that this particular way of getting and staying sober works. So I'll stick with it, and that was really, really useful. He's a magical man, and we've caught up a few times. I think he lives in Texas now, so I don't get over to Texas much. But yeah, he's a magical bloke, and I was really, really lucky to have that. And I think it's important. You just look around to find the person that it's whatever, it's what they tell. Sometimes it's weird. I was going to say it's what you tell people at the gym. Just go and find the person who's got a body that looks like yours and ask them how they did it.
Yeah.
If they start asking you testosterone, is that offering you testosterone? Maybe say no, because I don't think people quite understand the effects of taking exogenous testosterone in their 20s. Yeah, you look massive, but not good for you. Yeah, it's just find the person who's got a thing that you want and ask them how they did it. And more than not, people will be very grateful to lend a hand and let you know, because who doesn't want to share something amazing, whether it be, and I'm the same with work, when people email me and say, can you give me a hand? I want to get into this or get into that. Or I'm like, great. I throw a couple of questions back at them to, as a road test. And if they email back, I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we stay in touch, and, I'm thrilled to help people with their work. And, same with this, I was given the most extraordinary gift with my man, David. He's incredible. He's an amazing guy. I got really, really lucky with him. To say that like I said, it's an ego battle. Right? It's still an ego battle, right? I'm in like a Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie most days. And it's hilarious when it literally takes the wheel. I'm like, hang on, buddy. Yeah. And I have to say, look, I'm really sorry. The last thing that came out of my mouth wasn't great. That still happens. But yeah, my man David is unbelievably wise and really, really helped me. It took me a long time to get my head around that I wasn't bothering him.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get around that. And like I was saying to this guy last night, you don't quite understand. And it's the thing that David used to always say to me, he still says to me, it's like, you don't get it, man. If I'm on the phone to you for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes not with my shit. Yeah. And it's a great relief.
Yeah, that's wise words.
He did tell me one day, he said, look, if you're calling me too much, I will pump the brakes, but I'll let you know.
Amazing.
And I trusted him. He never told me to not call.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Did I talk too much? Should have handled that. Just let it go. I wish I would stop
Overthinking so much.
Did I talk too much? I wish I would stop. Overthinking. Let it go.
Take a breath. You're not alone. Let's talk about what's going on.
Counseling helps you sort through the noise with qualified professionals, and online therapy makes it convenient. See if it's for you. Visit BetterHelp.com/randompodcast for 10% off your first month of online therapy and let life feel better.
What struck me about your story was how unfair it seemed. In that, you're struggling with your mental health. You're like, I should get into exercise. And you start running and you start doing yoga. Then you're like, I will look at my diet, and you become vegan. And then you got really good at Scrabble. Most people go sober, then get into Scrabble. You're into Scrabble when you were still drinking.
I was still drinking, yeah.
And then you went sober. And on paper, I'm like, cool. Then all of the mental health issues should go away because you're doing exercise and diet and sobriety. And then it was after that you start having these suicide ideations
Yeah.
and you start, you mentioned the psychotic episodes. Like, what kept you going? It seems so unfair.
I look at it completely differently.
Go on,
I
tell me
look
how
at
you
it in that I got enormously lucky. Like,
yes.
unbelievably lucky in that the skills that I had learned to get through the challenge that I was facing, once I pushed, got through that challenge or adapted to it, having those skills on hand when the next thing showed up was the thing that saved me. So when I got diagnosed with PTSD, I got taught cognitive behavioral therapy, which was really, really useful. So the idea that just because I'm feeling it doesn't make it real, that's a hard thing to come to at the same time as getting sober. All right? That's very difficult. But I had gone through that battle with my identity and my relationship to the world earlier because I had to. So I just couldn't work, couldn't speak to people, I couldn't look people in the eye. So by the time I got sober, I'd already had that thing. Like, oh, it's that thing. That's what a character defect. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get that. Okay. All right, cool. So then having that and having the knowledge to being taught to, before you pick up a drink, pick up the phone, it's okay to check with another person and, just run a reality check on whatever's going on and try to, the lessons of certainly working with a sponsor and working with other people who are sober, it's useful to sometimes think about a situation with someone else's brain, all right? And trusting that person has your best intentions at heart. And even if what they tell you feels uncomfortable and not what you would do, you kind of know that what I want to do is what I always used to do, and what I always used to do never ended well. I'm just going to try what this person tells me. And it works out differently. Might be better, it might not, but at least it's different. So that really helped when I started to get quite ill and my relationship with reality started to kind of shift. I had learned to meditate as a part of getting sober. And so both of those things, by the time I got really sick, it was in meditation that I realized I was having distorted thinking, that I was having these really intense, different versions of reality that everyone else is experiencing. Because some people have had issue when I've spoken about this on stage. My man, when I called him on the day that everything fell to bits, he said, "You're lucky, pal. Crazy people don't know they're crazy." And why would they?
Yeah.
Why? You've never had cause to question your own thoughts or question your own reality. Why would you believe that this is any different? Of course, everyone else is fucking horrible, and of course, everyone in the office is after you. All right, everyone else is fucked.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
It's all you.
Yeah.
And that is super real. I was really lucky that I had learned that's not always the case. It's important to check. And if someone else tells you something differently and then another person tells you the same thing, that it's okay for you to then trust them on how to handle the situation, because in the past, I have tried my own way and it's never worked out well. I've looked for a new job. When that came around, I just started calling people, and my brain was just doing all kinds of wild shit. And I knew to call people. Because I've been taught, before you pick up a drink, pick up a phone. And I would just call people. And that really, really helped. And I knew that my brain wasn't big enough to think my way out of it. And I help-seeking behavior and psychologists and all that kind of stuff. I had learned all that actually works, and I was very, very lucky to know that when I got very, very sick. And so then, even then, going through all the, quite recently, I've gone through a whole bunch of shit with, I had to get a hip replacement in the end, and it didn't go very well. Through nobody, it just happens. Sometimes surgeries, low risk, not no risk.
Yeah, sure.
There's 2% risk, not 0% risk. 2% is what I got. I got real lucky. And I had about 18 months of chronic and persistent pain. It was really bad. But because I'm a fucking idiot, I told the doctors, look, I've abused opioids and benzodiazepines in the past. They go, okay, and they tick a box. And I'm like, oh, right. So, okay. But I know that. Yeah. And so I did the whole thing on Panadol. I did the whole thing on
Holy
paracetamol
hell.
and, you know, some other anti-inflammatories. But I work with a pain psychologist. And so the exposure therapy that I had to do to get through the OCD, psychosis and all that kind of stuff, it was fucking bad. Exposure therapy is fucking hard, but it works. So the exposure therapy, learning that and knowing that it works, even though it's really uncomfortable and very, very difficult, it works. Knowing that when it came time to work with a pain psychologist, I was like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I kind of shuddered to stop now and think about, I really hope I don't have to use all this stuff for the next thing, but I might.
You're equipped.
I
It comes
might.
along.
And so I'm really grateful for that I have these extraordinary tools that showed up every time that help me with the next thing and the next thing. It's interesting though, alcohol's an avoidant behavior, right? And at one point I was like, it wasn't just booze, like it was like internet porn and gambling and shopping and that was just a Tuesday, like astounding amounts of everything I could do to not feel what I was trying to, feel. And when I think about it now, it's like could have just taken a couple of breaths and thought about it and it would have been all right. But I had such an averse relationship to even considering these thoughts that I was doing so much. It was so much work to try to keep these thoughts away. It's important to keep a handle on that because it does find its way around. I know to not drink, all right? Yet gambling apps on your phone show up.
Are they okay?
And you're like, oh yeah? And I'm sitting on the shitter betting on ping pong tournaments in Singapore going, what the fuck? Oh, I'm doing that thing. All right, I'm out. Or whatever. It's important to notice that it can show up. It can show up and just try to understand that it's that great line from the Frank Herbert book, Dune, fear is the mind killer. The fear will pass through me and I'll turn around and only I will remain. Like that's truly the only way to get through the thing, whatever it is. Just be with it. Take a couple breaths. My uncle, who's passed away now, used to always tell me, you only have to be brave for one breath. All right? So say you got to break up with someone. It's hard, real hard. You only really need one breath. Get it to enough words that you can say one breath. You go, Hamish, it's just not what it used to be. I'm going to move out. I'll have my things gone by Saturday. That's it, one breath. And then you deal with everything.
Yeah.
All right? But you only have to be brave for that one breath.
Yeah,
Same
I
like
like
if
it.
you're firing someone or whatever. It's really only one breath. All right? And then you deal with the next thing and the next thing. And you can. It's just these moments, right? And I wish I'd known that earlier. I know it. I'm lucky to know it now.
Well, on that knowing not to drink, for most people, yourself included, you give up and life gets a little bit harder before it gets easier.
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference between being sober and not drinking?
Right. Not drinking, I did not drinking for about a year. And not drinking, because I've done this, not drinking is a little like coming off your meds cold turkey and not doing anything else to fill the space. I just became a complete fucking punish. Like just all the things that I'd been suppressing, all the things that I'd been drinking to keep down, like a garden hose with your thumb on the end, just burst forth, and I had no idea how to handle any of it. No idea. I had no ability to cope, no ability to deal with frustration or intolerance. My window of tolerance was barely open. It was awful to be around. Of course my first marriage ended. Of course it did. Being sober is taking responsibility for the dysregulation in your reward system, understanding the triggers and the cycles that can happen, knowing ways out, knowing how to manage it, having strategies to deal with things, and being willing to be with when things are not amazing, because that is what life is, all right? On the whole, it's more amazing than it isn't, all right? But there is something wonderful in every less amazing moment if you look for it. We can train our brains to look at the world through more of a lens of, I don't like the word positivity, more of a lens of possibility, all right? That is something I actively do. And that, you know, that's kind of it. That's the difference, is taking responsibility for the kind of systems that your behaviors have created in your head, understanding that it's going to take quite a while to rewire things. You're going to be okay. It's going to be all right. But you just need a few more skills and tools that other people learn when they're 3.
Okay, yeah.
All right? And, you know, my stepdaughter, she's amazing. She's 20 and she's like decades more emotionally mature than I am, right? This blow up last night, man, the way she spoke was like, fuck, I did not know how to have that kind of space in a disagreement when I was your age.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And I caused too much pain for too many people. I'm so amazed at her. She's an amazing human being. And because guess what? Arguments still happen, even in happy relationships. All right, people still get frustrated with each other. People still disagree. It's okay. Like, it's what happens. And so yeah, being sober is like understanding that your reward system's dysregulated. You're gonna have to put a little extra effort in to make sure things like, you know, dopamine and serotonin are all there in good spots. You have a generally history of avoiding things that are difficult, and that avoidance can turn into problems. And so it's just asking someone to, you know, being sober is like a state of learning, a state of humility, a state of understanding that I don't have all the answers, and I'm trying to do my best today with what I've got, and I'm trying to help other people with what I've learned so far, because even though I haven't got everything I need, I've got more than other people who are just starting, and that's very helpful to them. And yeah, I guess it's 3 different answers to the one question. I would say, yeah, being sober and not drinking. Being sober is having humility and self-awareness and understanding that your life can be bigger than you could possibly have ever dreamed, and anything that's worth it takes work, and that's it. I remember being at in a particular gathering of a fellowship of men and women, and I, you know, talked about my day. I was living in a friend's spare room. I just got divorced, and this guy just came up to me and says, "Mate, you're going to be all right. All right. I was where you were 3-4 years ago." And he was a writer, a feature film writer. And he's like, I was like, "Well, what happened?" He goes, well, he's married, he had 2 kids, he had working again, he's just bought a house. He may as well have been telling me the story of Hansel and Gretel. I'm like, "You're fucking joking me, mate." But I had to believe that he was telling me the truth, and that just because I couldn't imagine it doesn't mean it couldn't happen. And he was right, because I just did not have that perspective. I did not have the ability to see. And that's what not drinking is. Not drinking is not having the lens of possibility. It's just, I don't know how anyone with the kind of dysregulation of a reward system and sort of emotional control that I had when I'd stopped drinking, I don't know how you could do it. I don't know how you could do it. I see our youngest, he's 4.5. Man, that guy can self-regulate already. It's fucking amazing. I've taught him since he was as young as he could be.
Yeah.
But it's extraordinary watching him be in awareness and name his emotions and be able to calm himself down. And I don't know any of that shit. And that's amazing, you know. I hope I'm of the, you know, kind of last generation that goes through that. But I did read a thing yesterday saying that there's more people in Australia doing meth than ever before, and less people in Australia drinking than ever before.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because booze is expensive. But fuck me, man. That one's bad.
Yeah.
That is
a whole
that will
other kettle of
change.
fish.
That will change your brain for life. And I know a couple of people that have come off it. It takes work, but it can be done, and their life's amazing now. But like when I think about what I did to my brain, which was already on the pathway to what it became, but the petrol that I put on the fire with the amount of, chemicals and drugs and things that I threw in there as well. Going through my days, none of it was worth it. None of it was worth it. But look, I'm on the dance floor and the song, you're too young for this. There was a fucking song. He's a good, he's Ebenezer good. Like, that was a fucking song. Yeah. It was a massive hit. It's you can't at the time, I just did not at all appreciate the long-term effects of, and I couldn't possibly fathom the long-term effects of those sorts of things. But they're real and they're there. Some people have hundreds of nights and they'll be fine. And then there's people like me who did not and cannot. As
a dad and stepdad, obviously Wolfie's only 4, Georgia's 20. Wolfie's probably too young, but how have you approached discussing alcohol, with your dad and your stepdad? How?
So we'd seen all these, we'd seen a couple of these lectures. We've got a lot of really great intel, and Audrey had spent a lot of time with her, talking to her about her sense of self-worth and that, you don't need to give any part of yourself or do anything to or for anybody to impress them. You are good enough. And she always had that. All right. I never did. Yeah. All right. I was drinking, trying to fill that hole. She has had that hole didn't even patching up. That hole's like, she's solid. And so, you go to house parties and she went to a house party once. It was like 300 kids there. Cops showing up. Kids next door. There's so many of them. They pushed the brick fence over. This is at a fuck-off place in Vaucluse, right? Just bananas. And I would go to pick her up, and there's just kids all over the street. There's like a crew of like 16-year-old boys that I recognise because they're the kind of boys that I went to school with, or I was, literally with a goon bag in their hand, running at a tree, headbutting it, and taking turns trying to headbutt this tree to try, trying to make fruit fall off. I don't know what the fuck. And like through this chaos and cop cars and whatever, she sees the car. She's texting me again, can you come get me? Oh, yeah. She sees the car. She walks in. She jumps in the car. Hey, G, how's the party? Yeah, good. I can't smell anything on her breath. I was like, oh, man, I'm amazed. If I'd been at that house party, I would have been like a fucking truffle pig trying to find every single drop of alcohol anywhere inside. Nah. And that was who she was. That's who she was when she was going to house parties. And that's who she's continued to be as a young woman. She's a very, very impressive human, and that's all to do with, the way that Audrey's raised her. And I'm just so fucking proud. I'm really so proud of her. She's an amazing kid.
I love the way you speak about her.
It's true, though.
You sort of see it on your face.
It's true. She, I think any stepdaughter or daughter will roll their eyes, and that's okay. That's the job.
Many people might assume that admitting to addiction and mental health issues is bad for your career, right?
Yeah, right.
Why would you employ the person who's got this? You've been vocal about it, through your podcast, through your book, through any way that you can. How important do you think that is for particularly Australian men, I would say, to voice these vulnerabilities?
Well, I don't think it's a vulnerability. I think it's a strength, because alcohol was making the choices for me. Yeah. And who's weak then? I'm getting told what to do by a bottle or a booze ad or a gambling ad, and I'm doing what these ads tell me. I'm doing what this cultural practice is. I'm not making my own choice here. I make my own choices now. So I'd say it's a move of strength, personally. You can't be what you can't see. And I just didn't know that sobriety could look like anything except a sad person sitting in a small room under a church drinking shitty coffee out of a polystyrene cup. It has. I find other places to go because I don't like the polystyrene cups. I don't like the sad rooms under the churches. It can be that, but I think everything that I saw on TV about, sobriety, people who try to help each other stay sober, had always been in the. It's always written into a film or television script as a way of putting stakes on a situation or something like that. They never show that, oh my God, this person at the age of 40 was divorced and unemployed, living in a foreign country, paying rent out of his savings. And at the age of 50 is married with 2 kids, somehow has money in his super now, and is in some of the best shape of his life and is doing better. Like, you never saw that. Yeah. But that's it. That's me. That's the thing. It was never spoken about. And it's like anything, I guess I was saying before, like if you avoid it, it's just going to get worse. If you don't talk about it, it's just going to get worse. The thing about disclosing, and I would never pressure anyone to disclose. If you disclose and don't take responsibility, that's not really disclosing. That's, you can't be mad at me because I've got this thing.
Right.
Like, no, that's not a great move. That's not a great move. You got to take responsibility for it. And whenever I've disclosed, or early on when I was disclosing, in the same breath I would say this is what I'm doing about it. And this is what I do to make sure that I can still deliver the thing that I'm here to deliver, whether that be my end of a relationship or my part of a contract or whatever. And that's a power move. It always has been. But I don't think we really talk about it like that. If you had a colleague that was type 1 diabetic and they come back from lunch with a dozen Krispy Kremes and they just start shoving them in their face, you'd be like, Stacey, that's not good for you. Nah, I don't have a problem. It's like, no, man. I'm really uncomfortable watching you do that to yourself. All right, that's fine. I've got insulin. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, you got to take responsibility for it, and it feels amazing because like most of my life I had not taken responsibility for things, and like, it's hard to understand that people in a room are shitty with you because something you've done, and that happened last night. Nobody likes it, but it's an opportunity to go, okay, so how can I not do that again? How can I get a little better at trying to do tomorrow than I did today? And understanding that, like, all I've got is this moment to try to do better than whatever I just did, and trying as hard as I can to learn from those moments to try to do a little better than I just did. I just wish more people knew that we come out, most of us, even those of us who've got brains that might need a little help from a doctor or a psych, or, like me, a few pharmaceuticals, most of us come out with all the coping mechanisms we need, all right? But we're not taught enough about that. We don't know enough about that. I kind of really only saw exercise as something that an angry man with a beard and a whistle was forcing me to do.
Right.
Exercise were the things that boys who wanted to be good at footy did.
Yeah.
Exercise was the thing that, people who wanted to be skinny did. If you did exercise, it's because you felt terrible about your fat body. So I didn't want to do it. We never, because we get sold this idea that exercise is for an aesthetic result or an athletic result, which it can be. We never get fucking taught. We never get taught that exercise and working out for a cognitive result is just as fucking valuable, all right? And that there are neurotransmitters in your body that can be released that will allow you to shift mood states throughout your day as effectively as antidepressants. And if you do that while you're taking antidepressants, it like more than doubles the effect of those antidepressants. We never get taught that exercise is a way to make your body do the thing it should be doing anyway, which is regulating itself and dealing with discomfort and, coming back to stasis after a blow up. But if we don't move our bodies in a particular way, and it can be just a walk, if we don't move our bodies in a particular way, we're denying ourselves from the dopamine and the serotonin and the epinephrine and norepinephrine that we need to question. Oh, hang on a second. Did I just shout that? Oh, I did. Of course, that's why that person. I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing there. Can I find another way to say that, please? You know, we don't. That's the things that get released in our brain that allow us to behave differently. But if we're not using our bodies in the way they're designed to be used, which is actually moving and lifting things, we don't have that. And we're way, we're not even near the start line. You know, and I wish that I knew that when I was younger, that moving your body is the thing that needs to be done. I just made this documentary about chronic and persistent pain because, you know, when you go through something terrible, why not make a movie about it? We made one. I'm an award-winning documentary maker. You forgot to mention that. And what's good about winning an award is you get to make another film a little bit easier the second time. So hopefully it does as well. So we made this film, and there was a moment where we were showing the why pain is important, right? And I had a psychologist on, and we're talking about that pain. There's a reason that pain exists, because pain, our brains work by identifying contrast. Okay, it's why you look at a crowd of people and you see the one person waving. All right, our brains identify contrast. That's how our heads work. So pain allows us to feel pleasure because the pleasure sensation is a contrast to the discomfort. If we experience constant pleasure, we get what's called hedonic habituation, which is why, as Axl Rose said, I used to do a little, but the little wouldn't do it, so the little got more and more. The thing that felt good no longer feels good because we've become habituated to that, so we need to increase that dosage, and therefore we get into trouble. So we wanted to prove, basically demonstrate this. So I got an ice bath, and I'm in an ice bath for, however long. And I get out, and the guy and the psychologist we were working with, he hands me this biscuit, which I am very familiar with. It's a gluten-free vegan biscuit that look, when you do TV shows like me, they say, do you want anything in your green room? It's like, this particular biscuit, please.
Yes.
And I put a little packet on there. And so I'm really familiar with the taste of it. I've been out of the ice bath about 45 seconds, maybe a minute. I took a bite of this biscuit and I could have sworn it was laced with Xanax. I was so fucking high.
Yeah.
And I know what it feels like to be really fucking high. Mm-hmm. And I'm eating this biscuit and I was like, I just can't believe, I know there's nothing in this except for chocolate, but I cannot believe how just the waves of pleasure that I'm feeling, every single thing that's making me feel this way has been generated within my own body. I wish I had known that I had that capacity when I was younger. It's to know that is amazing. I get high every night now because we just put a barrel sauna in the backyard. One of the cheap ones. Fuck, it's amazing. So in there every night, and then I, cold shower, back in there, cold shower. I walk upstairs. I'm so I'm punchy. I'm like, hey, honey. I go later. I just lie there, just like, this is amazing. Yeah. I wish I'd known that. That our drugs and alcohol are a simulacrum. They're a mimic of the actual highs that exist in life. We think because we can call someone and a bag will get delivered, or we can call someone and a carton will get delivered, or, we can go somewhere and, be out in the forest in the mud, with a bunch of people with dreadlocks at a bush drill for 4 days, eat things that grow at the base of trees. We think that's the way to access this. Mate, all those things do is flick switches in your brain that are already there. Yeah. And you flick those switches by ingesting these substances or whatever, and you think that's the only way to get them. No. When Wolfgang was born, 4.5 years ago or so, the smell of that boy's head was just, that was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever snorted in my life, all right? And the amount of just horrific fucking destruction I've done to my brain, chasing a feeling that was nowhere near that, thinking that that's what it was. All that was doing was just trying to, it's pushing those triggers in the brain that are there. Well, touch my nose. Sorry, I didn't mean they're pushing those triggers in the brain that are waiting for that baby head smell. All right, and then whether it be whatever party powder you're snorting, or it might kind of look like it, but all it ended up doing was just like drilling fucking holes through my head and making life difficult for the rest of my days. Like I still struggle with the ongoing effects of my ability to regulate and my ability to read a situation, all that kind of stuff. I fucking fucked my brain from the drugs that I did. If only I had known. If only I had known that my brain was just waiting for the smell of a baby's head. My brain was just waiting for something pleasurable after I'd done something hard. And I would have got that feeling. A, it would have been way cheaper. B, far healthier. And C, I would have got to bed a lot earlier. Yeah. Yeah. Would have saved a lot more money.
I went sober just after becoming a dad, and I don't think that's an accident. I also started cold water therapy the day I went sober. I've done it every day since, so I know where you're coming from. I just want to end by saying this, which, I moved to Australia in 2017 with a dream to become a TV presenter. And soon after I started working in TV, I worked on plenty of shows with you. And
really? You worked with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Where do we work?
I did a few batches. I did Masked Singer.
What was your role?
I was a runner. So
you were.
If you don't know what a runner is, you're listening to this. The runner's job is I brought everyone coffee. I would do vegan food runs for you.
You did.
I would make sure all of the things that you don't see on camera are done. That's
were you with us at Carriage Works?
Yep.
Right.
Carriage Works, I did. Yeah, I was on.
You were with us at the one after that at Disney?
No.
Oh, right.
No.
That was the one more like Carriage Works. I was in a bit of pain, but the one after at Disney, I was fucking bad.
Yeah.
That was. I can't believe I did that. Really? I can't believe I did that. Yeah, yeah.
But my job, obviously, when I come to a set, slightly differently to everyone else because of what I want to do, I'm really studying the presenter to see what I can learn. What are they doing that I could do better? What can I pick from their trophy of skills? And from you, first came to me was, okay, he can deliver a line. He's likable on camera. He's got a great sense of timing. He's got a great sense of humour. But what really stood out for me was that despite me being a runner and being the guy that brought you food, you treated me with such respect. There was never a sense of hierarchy. There was never a sense of judgment. And I think the big lesson that I've learned from you is the way that I now judge a presenter is I judge them based on how they treat the runner. And I want to thank you for teaching me that lesson.
Mate, you're welcome. Honestly, I am that way because I was not always that way. Mm-hmm. And I am, how shall I put this? It is known as a living amends to all the people that I couldn't go and find and, talk through things with. And thank you for saying so. When I sat down with my man David and we kind of talked through the really difficult parts of my life, I was just so full of shame. And which is a really important part of a particular way of getting sober is you get a chance to take it all out and put it on a table and have someone else look at it. And they go, it's okay, man, you don't have to hold it by yourself now. I can hold this with you. And he just turned to me and he said, I got good news for you. You get to live the rest of your life not being that guy anymore. And I'm every day that I am lucky enough to get paid by someone to do a thing I love to do, or I don't love to do any day, I'm so freaking grateful, man. I'm so grateful. And it's it's in those moments. And I guess one great lesson from that I've always understood is that everyone that you work with is everyone you'll always work with. Yeah. And people used to, ask, oh, are you going to go hard at the Logies? I'm like, no, because I'm in a room full of everyone I've ever been employed by and everyone who will ever give me my next job. Yeah. So no, I'm not going to make a dick of myself. Yeah. I'm going to be lovely and professional because this is my career. And it took me a little bit to get around to that. But I'm glad thank you for bringing me the food. And it was a Carriage Works one was weird. I do remember you now. We were all in masks. Yeah. And so there's quite a few people I work with.
You just know this part of their face.
Yeah, there's people I work with now, and we're speaking to each other. And I'm like, didn't see your teeth for 2 years. And so my reference point is only their eyes. And so I don't really,
Well, thank
it's
you.
great.
And thank you for being on Sober Awkward. And thank you for spending an hour of your soberversary with me. I feel very touched.
I couldn't think of anything better. Thank you for having me. Thank you for my merch.
If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
Do they have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on the document.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Busy work weeks can leave you feeling drained. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet works at the cellular level to rejuvenate you from the inside out, providing real results that include fat-focused, sustainable weight loss with no injection needed. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top medical centers, Prolon supports biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. Get 25% off plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe at prolonlife.com/start. That's prolonlife.com/start.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh, yeah, really depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah. From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy, buy it. Yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.